Hanadi Musa is a 42-year-old Palestinian living in the occupied West Bank. She is the mother of 7. Her husband Ahmed was taken by Israeli forces from their house last month during a night raid. She says so far, no charges have been filed against him.
It was almost 2 in the middle of the night. We heard a loud noise and woke up frightened. We found out the soldiers of the occupation were trying to break down the door by force. We opened the door for them, and when they entered the house, they asked for our IDs and looked at the ID of my husband. No charges were presented to Ahmed at the moment of his arrest, and they didn't tell him what the reason for their arrival was. They just arrested him and left.
Hanadi says her husband is currently on a hunger strike, campaigning for his release. So far, Ahmed hasn't been taken to court. He's being held in so-called administrative detention. In Israel, suspects can be held in administrative detention without charge under a system called preventive detention. There are no court appearances, and their lawyers aren't provided with the details of any evidence against them, only a summary of suspicions. There are currently 723 detainees being held without trial in Israel's prisons. Statistics show that numbers soared since a wave of attacks killed 19 people between March and May this year. The Israeli army says administrative detention is only used where security authorities have reliable information indicating a real risk posed by the detainee to the security of the area and where there is no alternative to remove the risk. The army also says administrative detention takes place through a judicial procedure conducted by the military court. But Palestinians believe it's unjust.
The elderly, young children and women were subjected to this arrest and spent many years inside the prisons of the occupation without the person knowing his accusation. And therefore there is severe injustice practiced by the occupation under the pretext that this is an emergency and secret file led by the Shin Bet.
Hanadi says her husband was held under administrative detention once before, in 2018, and released after a hunger strike. She says that's what life is like under the occupation, living moment to moment with her children and waiting for her husband to come home. Mustafa Fatih, TRT World, Occupied East Jerusalem.